Venom: The Last Dance is directed by Kelly Marcel, and she also wrote the screenplay with a few other writers, and this is her first director debut of this movie, and this is the 5th installment in the Sony Spider-Man universe, and this is the 3rd and final film in this Venom trilogy with Tom Hardy. Eddie Brock and Venom are on the run from these group of military soldiers who are looking for him, and of course this group of alien forces come to Earth to look for this codex that Venom is holding is the key to Null's destruction of the universe. Now, when it comes to the Venom movies, or even the Sony's Spider-Man films, just say I am not the biggest fan at all. To give you a wee quick thoughts on the first 2 Venom movies, the first one was just mediocre. It was alright. It was, for what it is, it's a dumb action movie. There's nothing underneath its surface. Venom: Let There Be Carnage is definitely an improvement. It definitely works on a few things, even though I can't remember most things what happened. All I know, Venom and Carnage had a battle in the church. That's all I can remember. I can't think of anything else, but all of that is forgettable, but it's definitely a slight improvement. I didn't have any high expectations for this one. I wasn't really planning to watch this or see this movie. I didn't have any interest. I just thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll see this one, and then probably after that, I'm not going to bother with Kraven the Hunter. It's coming out in the next month. I think it's coming out in December, if it is coming out, because I'm not caring about Kraven. I'm not really Kraven at all for it. But after seeing the film, and for what I think it is, it's just meh. I didn't really care for Venom: The Last Dance. It's just a very straightforward, very simple, well, I wouldn't say simple, because can I just get this out of the way? The story itself is very, very weak, very messy, too much stuff going on with certain plot points and characters. It just didn't blend in well, and introduction to Null in this 3rd and final installment, which is meant to be the big Thanos in this trilogy, but even though we'll get to that in a moment because I've got some things to say about that character. I think the story as a whole is a mess, and you can tell by the way I'm saying it, I didn't like this movie at all. I think it's just a really bad film. It's a bad movie. It wasn't good. It was just really, really bad. Now, I'm not going to act like this film is, oh my god, I hate it, I'm going to trash on it. No, it's just an overall messy, inconsistent, really lifeless. It's just a big, giant studio, give me your money type of movie. It's a Sony product. It's not a Sony well-made, well-produced, well-directed, well-acted. It's just a Sony product for its time. There are some positive things about Venom: Last Dance. There are a couple of positives. The acting all around is alright, they're fine, they're decent. Tom Hardy does his best. Tom Hardy is Tom Hardy with his performance, his tune-up scenery. I think Tom Hardy does a good job here. He does a fine job he's given. The interaction between him and Venom are still the strongest part in this Venom trilogy. I think it's the strongest part. It's definitely the more strongest aspect of the film is them bonding each other and have their relationship going through this movie. I will admit, the climax of the film is touching, all of them, when they try to separate. It's hurtful. It's a really upsetting scene, but I do feel it. I'm not really upset, it's sad, I'm supposed to feel sad. I can see what it's going through. I remember going, okay, it was touching, it was beautiful, I appreciate it, I do applaud it, and I will give some credit will do. And there's some cool action scenes here and there, but especially we have one cool action scenes, especially the opening scene with Venom biting these guys' head off when they try to rescue these dogs, or these fighting dogs, like stray dogs. And of course, there's a fun horse scene when Venom turns his Venom form into a horse. Especially when he ran in the desert and Don't Stop Me Now, Sovereign Queen. What can I say for that scene? What a great scene! Of course, we got Mrs. Chen in the film in Las Vegas. Yeah, it was another great scene. I like Mrs. Chen. I like her. She's a cool character. I really liked her. But that's all she is. She's there in Las Vegas for some reasons, because what's the reason why? Well, we don't know. It's just a plot device for Eddie to get to the next point. Speaking of that, we have the family in the movie. Rhys Ifans, I think that's the actor's name, who plays Dr. Kirk Connors from the Amazing Spider-Man movie, and of course he appeared again in Spider-Man No Way Home. We see him again in this movie, but as a a dad, and also he has kids and a wife going this traveling, and they're basically aliens, conspiracy families, and they think these aliens are real or not real or something, I can recall. But yeah, they're fine, but they don't need to be there. They're just there for a plot device for Eddie Brock to get to the next point of the film. Well, the family stuff is cute, but at the same time, I just feel like, why they're there? What's the reason? And if some of the other stuff in there is just waste of time. The character from There Be Carnage, he was wasted. He didn't get much to do. He's just there, gives some backstory on Noel and just all these other stuff going on. It just didn't feel anything. Chiwetel Ejiofor as the general, great actor. I love Chiwetel Ejiofor as an actor. He's great in everything. Always loved him as Baron Mordo in the Doctor Strange movies. Here, he was ultimately wasted, and this character has nothing to do. He is very bland, very weak, and just a very boring character. None of these characters are that interesting. Am I surprised? Not really. It's Sony, just remember. I'm not going to be like Chris Stuntman with the whole, it's all Sony's fault, they deserve all the blame. But Sony is bad. They don't know what they're doing. The creatives is the problem. They don't know what they're doing, because none of these movies or some of these scenes, they don't add up. None of these things don't make sense. It's just the plot is all over the place. You can tell from the writing standpoint, because this film is filmed just around the time when the writer strikes happened and they had to shut down production. And of course, they didn't have work with scripts or stuff, so they had to make up as along. And you can tell that it's a mess. It's a inconsistent, really bad film. It doesn't have any clear direction where this film is going. I had to say this, I found this film to be very boring. There's so many times I was checking my phone a couple of times and I was starting to feel really, really bored. I was really bored out of my mind watching this film, because I was just wanting this film to end and how this film goes. As far as Noel, Andy Serkis is fine. He did a good job voicing or playing the character. I will admit his look is really cool. He looks very scary, I will admit that. But he's only in 3 or 4 scenes, and that's it, including a mid-credit scene. He's basically there just to be there. I thought to myself, what is the point of this? This is Sony's basically their Thanos for this trilogy for Venom, but he did nothing with him. He's just there, sitting his planet, waiting to get the codex from what's in Venom has. But what's the reason though? He never does anything. He just sits there and let his minions do the job, and it just felt underwhelming. Climax of the movie, it's just pointless, dull, uninspired, and very, very, very pathetic. It kind of reminds me of the other movie, X-Men Dark Phoenix, which that film, can anyone remember that movie or not? The way they ended that film, it's very anticlimactic. Those two movies remind me of those together. They're very anticlimactic. It just felt like it was just one quick, boop, that's it. You kind of go, is that it? Is that it? I don't know if Noah is going to be in the future Sony Spider-Man universe, or is he going to be in the MCU. I don't want to compare this to the MCU, but this is easy to compare. Those people who say that the MCU is just nothing but just a giant popcorn entertainment and nothing else underneath its surface, you guys really need to get your heads checked, because this is Sony Spider-Man's what they're doing. What you say about the MCU, they're just popcorn entertainment and nothing else and nothing more. Say what you will about the MCU, at least the MCU had something underneath its surface. Even the weakest ones, or even you can say the worst ones, either from the Infinity Saga or even from the Multiverse Saga, from their movies and shows, at least in those movies and shows, at least had something that drives the character forward and get to the climactic moment at the end. At least that you felt something, at least you feel there's something in there driving force to get to the next point. Here, I feel nothing. None of the Sony Spider-Man universe films has nothing in them. Just a waste of time. Yeah, this Sony Spider-Man universe movies are not good. If you guys out there enjoying them, if you just want to watch those movies for its popcorn entertainment, just watch it as a dumb action movie, be my guest. It's harmless, it's watchable. You can watch these Venom movies, you can have fun with them, you can turn your brain off. At the end, I just don't care. And yeah, this Venom movie's The Last Dance, I'm going to say it now, this is the worst Venom movie out of the whole out this whole trilogy. This is the worst one. At least the first two movies, as bad as those films are, at least in those first two films, at least the story is straightforward. At least you can see where it goes and it doesn't overlap with other stuff. Here, this one is a waste of time. I feel nothing. I'm glad this trilogy's ended, and I honestly wished this could have been the last one and just ended there. So by the end, Venom: The Last Dance is just a very forgettable, uninspired, untrustworthy of a Sony product. And if I had to pick this or Joker Folie à Deux, I had to pick Joker Folie à Deux over this over and over again, because Joker Folie à Deux, even though I'm not a fan of that movie, as much as I did not like it, but at the very least, Joker Folie à Deux, at least it had some good intentions behind it. At least there were some good things going for it, despite some choices they made, and some of the writing could have done a lot better in hindsight. At least they try to make the best movie they can. At least they're trying to make the best movie. Or heck, the DCEU is better than Sony's Spider-Man universe. I just don't care about it. Sony's Spider-Man universe is just a giant product. Other than that, from Sony, I'd rather be waiting for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse and working with Marvel Studios with this Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, this new trilogy they're making. And Venom: The Last Dance is a bad movie. I wouldn't give it an F or a D- or D or D+. I'm going to give it somewhere in the C's area, but again, it's a waste of time. There's nothing underneath its surface. It's lousy, lazy, loud, bored fest of a superhero film. I'm going to give Venom: The Last Dance a C-. Overall, guys, comment down below and tell me, what do you think of Venom: The Last Dance? Do you like it? Do you think it's alright, or do you hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya!